Hello, sports fans. It's July 31st, 2024. Welcome to Cleats by Dre. I'm Dre. Let's talk some sports. We're going to talk media rights today, specifically the national media rights picture. The NBA announced last week it secured a package worth $76 billion over 11 years with partners that include Disney through ESPN, Comcast through NBC Universal, and Amazon. I mean, I'm getting numb to these kind of numbers in sports. And what we'll do, and bear with me in the length of this episode, quite a bit to sink into, we'll do a quick review on how the leagues make their money, review this NBA deal, and then start asking the question, is the proliferation of media rights good for us as fans? And what's to come? Before we get there, though, ding, 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 new feature. I'm going to try something new. Just a quick minute on the last few days in sports since I recorded last Friday, just for some quick comments, right? So I did talk about the Mets quite a bit last week. I opined how dangerous they were. Was it the old podcaster jinx? They got whipped by the Braves Saturday and Sunday. Good couple days, Monday, Tuesday, beating up on the Twins. I guess I'm learning about it's a long season, right? Ups and downs. Trade deadline came in baseball also. I mean, maybe Cashman and the Yanks were listening to my Tuesday pod. Jazz Chisholm came along, lengthened that lineup, already 4 home runs in 2 games versus the Phils. Braves were listening to my Friday pod. They got Jorge Soler. Mets made some moves too. Overall, good deadline. I mean, the rich got richer, and it should make for some good end of season, good playoff races, and so on. And lastly, I have to acknowledge the Olympics. The Summer Olympics are back in Paris. Hate them or love them, I'll be a cornball for a second. See, I believe in sports as symbolism. The Olympics bring unity. And I love what the French did with the torch lighting. They actually, let international legends take part. Rafa Nadal, the Spaniard, Serena Williams, Carl Lewis, Americans, Nadia Comaneci, the famous Romanian gymnast. There really was, I was looking it up, no direct precedent for any host country to actually allow other countries to take part. Talk about a message of humility, of unity. Our world could use a dose of that. So kudos Olympics. All right, now on to media rights deals and what they mean for us. Let's just start taking a step back and catch everybody up on how these sports make their money. And I'm going to focus on the 4 big professional sports. There's a really good infographic on this that X handle at Brooksgate used some data from Sportive. So basically, there's different buckets of ways leagues make money. Generally, it's media. When I say media, think of TV viewing, also radio and other things too. And that splits into national and then local. So that's 2 buckets. Then there's the ticket sales, concessions, and parking, things, at the game. And then there's also sponsorships that the teams have. What you need to know is, I guess, it's different for each, right? So the NFL is king, right? NFL is $19 billion in revenue. NBA and MLB, this is in 2023, are at $11 billion each. NHL is at $7 billion. But the percentages are what's interesting, right? So the NFL, 2/3 of that $19 billion is national TV media. There are really no local games. No local really regional budget. Everything is covered nationally. So the NBA, before this deal, is 41% national TV media and 13% local TV and media. And MLB, 26% national, 23% local. And the NHL, 19% national and 11% local. So overall, NFL is getting 2/3 of its money through TV media, and it's all national. Down to the NHL is getting 30% of its money through TV and media. And so, of course, on the flip side of that, the NHL gets 56% of its revenue through ticket sales, concessions, parking. The NFL's number is down to 23%. So it's just, there's different flavors. And so, for the purposes of this, the NFL and the NBA have the largest national media deals. And I'd actually love in a future pod maybe to go into more about local TV media and what's happening there. But really the question is, how come the NFL and NBA are able to get bigger national media deals? I think for me, the local deal speaks to the passion and size of the local fan base, who wants to be in every day with the team. National deals, in the words of Tyrion Lannister, Game of Thrones fame, there's nothing in the world more powerful than a good story. I'd argue the storylines, the branding of the players in fantasy sports and gambling. The NFL and the NBA particularly do well on storylines. The players. You know what they're doing, off the field, on the field. MLB has not been successful in really marketing players. NHL, I'm not as familiar, but there's something about fans of NFL and MLB, following along. So just for a second, let's hone in on we're going to hone on national and TV media, and NFL and NBA, and just a comment on the viewership between the two, which I thought was interesting. So in terms of actual viewers, right? The NFL averaged 18 million viewers per regular season game. There's 272 of those. The NBA averaged 2 million viewers per regular season game on national TV. Only 165 regular season games on national TV. Now we get to the playoffs. NFL averages 38 million per playoff game. There's 12 playoff games, and then the Super Bowl, 185 million people watched the last Super Bowl. In the NBA, 5 million viewers per playoff game, including the finals. There are 82 of them. That's a big playoff inventory for the NBA. So all in all, the math shows the NFL gets 5.5 billion viewers a year. NBA gets 620 million viewers. The NFL, year-over-year increases recently of 7 and 10%. The NBA, slight declines year-over-year in ratings. So just keep in mind, the NFL brings in 9 times as many viewers nationally as the NBA. So let's keep that in mind. And I promise, folks, that's the math test for today. So what's happened lately, though? So the NBA digital rights deal was announced, $76 billion over 11 years. These packages include national games basically every night of the week across the networks and their streaming brands as well. Playoffs, in-season tournament, all-star game. That's a lot of money. Guys, we're going to have a $100 million player contract soon. Annual. Now, one of the reasons it's so provocative, this overall number, I was listening to the podcast Plain English by Derek Thompson on The Ringer. He pointed out the NBA rights deal, it's 2.5 times the one previously signed in 2014. And that's with ratings in the decline. A quick comparison point with the NFL, right? Their national media rights deal in 2021, $110 billion over 11 years. That's only about 1.5 times more than the NBA's. They have 9 times as many national viewers. Believe this NBA rights deal has ruffled some feathers, with the NFL owners, and they're itching for their next deal. But what I think is more important than just the comparisons here, it's what it matters for us. So, first let's think about what's driving these media rights numbers to even be higher and higher. I think there's nothing controversial here when I say live sports is some of the last remaining appointment television of our era. Now, Thompson in this podcast talks about how the proliferation of content and options in our consumption culture, not just with cord cutting and streamers, but now with the For You and the personal algorithms of social media, we're all experiencing and consuming content differently. It is a fact. No one else in the world consumes the exact same content I do each day. And I'm also old enough to have grown up with pre-cable set boxes and antennas. I remember the summer when no one knew who shot Mr. Burns on The Simpsons. Or when HBO became more popular, we'd all watch the finale of The Sopranos at the same time. With some exceptions, that world is gone. I have no idea what anyone watches anymore, and no one has any idea what I watch anymore. As Thompson says, our culture has been split into cults. So now, one of the last really big cults is sports fans. And live sports is 100% appointment television. It's the best. It has to happen at a certain time. It's not scripted. That's right, NFL skeptics. It's not scripted. And when it's at best, it pulls at the heartstrings. The latest, greatest example, of course, the Olympics. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and my wife and I, we've let the boys stay up each night since it started because they want to watch. My 6-year-old's favorite events are swimming and gymnastics. Mind you, I can't get him to watch any sports with me really ever. I have them paint their face Duke blue for the UNC game, and they smudge it on the couch, they grab their Kindles, and they become lifelong UNC fans. My wife, bless her soul, my sweet wife, the Olympics she loves, they get her feels. We're talking about nightly tearjerkers, even from the commercials, maybe especially the commercials. A sub-point here of the live sports part being important also for, the big corporations, the big media buyers, is a predictable nature. Ratings execs can predict ratings. They can predict the number of viewers for next year's games pretty closely. It's hard to know which new series or new movie will do well. And we know these big companies love projections and hate risk. The other big driver behind this large increase for the NBA, introduction of the streaming element, and maybe more specifically subscriptions that we sign up for and we don't sign out of. NBCU has Peacock. ESPN has ESPN Plus and even more streaming plans coming out. Amazon's now a player. In the NFL, Netflix is going to air Christmas games in the next 3 years. The number of leagues are the same, guys. The number of teams are mostly the same. More buyers, though, more competitors. That means more demand. That means higher rates. Now, to get really important, let's build on this streaming subscription point and come to the fun part. What does this all mean for us as fans? Is all this good? Well, it depends. Bear with me, guys. I'm a recovering business consultant, so of course it depends. You know what all the execs, all the fat cats, you know what they're all betting on? What they're counting on? You, me. More specifically, your wallet, your eyeballs. I don't believe they look at the consumptive capacity of a fan and say, we're saturated. Come on. Live sports is so in demand content-wise because of our passion as fans. A comparable? Why do you think the league's teams keep coming out with these awful alternate retro jerseys? The hardcore fan will keep adding to their closet. Yes, where's the cap to what we'll spend? In my household, we cut from Verizon Fios a few years ago. We went for YouTube TV. Better experience. I like easier portability on my phone. Then it lost MLB Network. It lost SNY, which shows the Mets. Never really had MSG for the Knicks or Yes for the Yankees. Oh, the price never went down. I also have Amazon Prime Video, Netflix. I think I have Peacock. Got Apple Plus. Do I need Paramount Plus? Do I have it? I don't know. What will ESPN's service be? MLB Network's now direct to consumer? Does Hulu have sports? How about Tubi or Fubu or Bumble or Fumble? I mean, MSG Plus was $29.99 a month for the Knicks and some hockey. You know what? I paid for that down the stretch of the Knicks last season because the team was on their best run in years. So yeah, I caved. I had to watch those games. I'm sitting here now wishing SNY would have something direct to consumer as the Mets get hot. I do want to cover local and regional TV and what's going on there in a future episode. But look, streaming's not going anywhere. The NFL put a playoff game on Peacock last year. I think it was the Chiefs-Dolphins. 71% of you, us, we stayed with Peacock. That's a win for them. They're counting on you to sign up for these things and not sign out. Subscriptions are recurring money. So is this good? I said it depends, right? No, I love sports. It's become a big part of my identity. It's a big fabric running through my life. NFL Sundays and fantasy football are pure joy. Knicks and Mets playoff action, chef's kiss. But am I drawing the line in spots? I have to. My wallet isn't endless. And call it corny. My life's bringing me too many other must-see moments too, be it coaching my sons or playing sports myself. So now looking ahead, I ask each of you, what's your upper limit? There will be a saturation at some point on the media rights landscape. Our wallets are not limitless. There are literally so many hours in the day. Unless we all get avatars of ourselves built and then those avatars learn to like watching sports, well, let's cut that. I don't need to give. We don't need, corporations getting those ideas. So let's stop that. But let's think. One thing that would help. How about improved user experience, guys? If I'm going to have to be aware of 15 different channels in streaming, can I at least get the best user experience possible? Can I channel surf easily instead of having to log in, log out, load different platforms? Can I do pitch to pitch like my dad and I used to do growing up? Back and forth between the Yankees game on Channel 9 and the Mets game on Channel 11. Can I go one click from MSG Plus to Peacock, ESPN to Amazon Plus? I'm just asking to go back to cable, basically, aren't I? But seriously, is anyone thinking of building this? Quick Google search showed a Deloitte survey that 59% of us fans would pay for this. 80% of millennials. I hope we don't have to rely on smart TV providers like Vizio or Roku for this. Please, yikes. But seriously, is anyone out there looking out for us, the fans? Or are we just the targets? Are we the marks? Because you're asking for my passion. You're asking for my wallet share. Give me something I actually want. Give me something I'll actually pay for. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Please keep sharing, keep rating, keep reviewing. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.